Tradify's rules are actually put in place to help you as a trader, make it easier to achieve your payout goals than you may think. We'll break down the 20% consistency rule in this video, as well as what it takes to get these payouts with Tradify, who I'm currently trading with, because it's not as hard as it may seem on the surface or people make it out to be. I think it's actually protecting the trader and making them think clearer, smarter, more professionally, and I'll explain how in this video. If we look at the TradeZell here, just to recap my February so far, we'll break it down the math of how can I take my payouts with Tradify, which are the accounts I'm trading. So that anyone wants to take a Tradify account, code Evan Dyer is always going to get you the greatest deal that they have. Right now, they're running 30% off all their accounts. So make sure you don't buy it at full price. You use code Evan Dyer. I'll save you 30% on any of these accounts. But first things first, looking at my month here, my biggest day so far is $900 in profit. So simply, I just like to think of it simply as your biggest day, multiply it times 5. That's what you're going to need to make in order to take your first payout. So this is on a 50K straight to sim funded. We can break it down over here and look at their rules for that. Where on this 50K here, my max drawdown is $2,000. My max daily loss is $1,200. So pretty standard. I could put on 5 minis or 50 micros. But this 20% consistency rule seems to be what's holding up a lot of people and confuse a lot of people. What does that mean? How do I take my payouts? But simply, I multiply everything by 5. So first things first, the payout target on a 50K account is $3,000. So if I want to take a payout at $3,000, I can't be making $900 a day, another $500, another $300, $200, and get to $3,000 and take a payout, because that $900 is more than 20% of my profits. So if my biggest day is going to be $900, I actually can't take a payout until $4,500, because that $900 is going to be 20% of $4,500, right? I guess we could use even easier numbers, $1,000. My biggest day is $1,000. Well, I'm going to need to make 5 times that in balance before I could take a payout. So a $5,000 balance. So if you want to take a payout at $3,000, divide it by 5. That's how big your largest winning day should be, right? That just keeps you in line with once you get to the target of $3,000, you're eligible for a payout. You don't want to be making $2,000 in the first day, make $200, another $200, and you eventually get to $3,000. You can't take a payout because that one day is way too big. It's way more than 20% of your $3,000 balance. Everyone follows so far? I think it should hopefully help clear it up a little bit. Maybe I could write it on the screen to help you guys out. But nonetheless, I have faith in you guys. You guys can figure that out. It keeps you locked in of not wanting to be greedy, because it's actually going to push back your payout. Like I said, if my biggest day is $2,000, multiply it by 5. Instead of having to get my balance to $3,000 and take a payout, I actually have to make $10,000 for that $2,000 day to be 20% of my account balance. So I'm actually pushing my finish line, that payout line, further down the road by having too big of a day if your goal is to get a payout at $3,000. So first things first, when you start trading with Tradify, math it out in your head. What is my first goal? What do I want to get this account to before I take a payout? If you don't want to take a payout at $3,000, that's fine. You can build up the account to $4,000, $5,000, but you need to know the math heading into it of, okay, if I want to build it up to $3,000, what should my biggest day look like? Okay, well, it shouldn't be more than like $300, $400 to stay on the safe side. If I'm okay waiting until $6,000 or even let's say $5,000, well, then you can afford to have a $1,000 day in there. So go for it. Shoot for the stars. Risk $500, $800 because you're willing to wait until $5,000. But don't come crying to me when you make $2,500 in a day, $500 the next day, and you're at $3,000 and they don't let you take a payout because you did not achieve 20% consistency. All of those profits, 80% of those profits were achieved on the one day, right? The 2,500 of the 3,000. But also to get, no matter what the consistency rule is, you need to take good setups. So like I was saying, these numbers actually keep you from wanting to shoot too high, right? For anyone just trying to get that first payout. That's why I think it's healthy for those struggling traders or first-time traders trying to get their first payout. It keeps you locked in of not wanting to be greedy. Because if your trade's up, let's say $1,000, you don't really have that incentive to push it to $1,500, $1,600, because it's actually going to push your payout target now down the line. Now, instead of taking a payout at $5,000 account balance, you're going to have to wait till $6,000, $7,000, right? So it's all well and dandy of in the day, oh, wow, nice, I made $1,500. But if your following days aren't going to be $1,500, they're going to go back down to $300, $400. You're pushing that balance. Now you need $8,000 to take a payout. But now your average net gain is like $300, $400. It's going to take a lot longer. So I'm not saying there's any problem with making $1,500 a day if your next day is going to be around 1,500 and your next day is going to be around 1,000, 1,500, right? Because then you easily can achieve these bigger balances. But you don't want to be making $200 a day, $1,500, $200 a day, $200 a day, $1,600, because then it's just going to be pushing the finish line down the road. But your average day is way too small to get there in a reasonable time frame, right? So hopefully that makes sense. I'm sorry if I confused anyone with that. I used a lot of numbers, but I think you guys get it. If you have any questions, always feel to drop more comments down below. Reach out to me in Discord, DMs, whatever the case may be. I could try to explain it a little bit better. But first things first, another thing we could look at is markups. To get these trades, like I'm saying, I don't need to be greedy because I don't need to make all of every move. I actually don't want to take all of every move because it could actually hurt my objective of taking a payout at $3,000. If I actually make $1,000 today, then when I get to $3,000, I can't take a payout. So I'm actually trying to stay within like $500. So let's say I'm in this trade and it goes up $400 right there. Okay, boom, I'm out. Take me out. I don't need to sit in this and be like, oh man, I should have held it longer. Well, if you did that, it would have felt great today, but now it's going to make my payouts even harder in the future because, again, that finish line is now being kicked down the road. So it's actually keeping me of looking for 1R, not wanting to hold on to forever, not even also size up too big of like, oh, I'm greedy, I want to size up. Well, you're going to probably have to size up again tomorrow and the next day as well to keep your numbers in line with what your average daily gain is, right? So just to go back to my calendar real quick again, I kind of went above the target, right? I can't take a payout at $3,000 either. Since my biggest day so far is 900, I'm going to have to wait till $4,500 balance before I could take my payout. Where on a 50K account, you're eligible for a payout at $3,000. But I now need to make a $1,500 extra because I made too much in one day. Too much being the 900, that's going to be 20% of $4,500. Simple as that. Another thing, we look at this markup here. You get a new low a day, pulls back, breaks the low a day view up after retesting this New York view up here beautifully, and makes it for 1.4R. I don't need to try to hold on to this forever. I'm not incentivized to be greedy and hold on to forever, try to hit these massive, massive home runs. So let me just follow my process, get 1R, get in, get out. Boom, I'll do it again tomorrow and try to make another 500. Try to make another 500 tomorrow. And then once you're at $3,000, congratulations, you could take a payout. Another setup here, this is playing off the 15-minute. The bounce play off the daily VWAP, break of a high day VWAP, continuing that trend higher like I teach here on AceFX TV, where all these strategies are taught in Futures 2.0 as well as Futures 101. But the VWAP break plays, the VWAP bounce plays, and then you could come watch me take these trades live on stream every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every single morning. We trade through the open, these VWAP strategies with me, Austin, James, and Zach. So definitely once you learn the strategies, tune on into the streams, and you can actually put those plays into practice and hopefully help you get to these payout targets that you want, because it's only $100 a month. So if you could make your one trade tomorrow, you can pay for 6 months of your subscription, because if you make $600 on a trade, that seems pretty reasonable. Congratulations, you paid for it for half a year on just one day of tuning into stream. So hopefully this helps clear things up with the Tradify rules. One other thing I will mention, even though you might be watching this in the future, way down the road, we are running a giveaway today for Tradeify, so congrats to anyone that won that. I always appreciate when Tradeify helps me give these accounts to you, so congrats to the 2 winners. We will definitely be looking to do more. Again, if you're watching this after February 21st, there's no giveaway, I'm sorry. But for anyone who's watching it live on the premiere, I appreciate you tuning in as always. Always feel free to reach out with any questions about Tradeify, my trades, my strategy, whatever. And big W's to Tradeify in the chat for, again, giving these accounts away to you guys. And yeah, good luck with your trading. Follow your rules. Hit up the consistency target. Get those payouts. Let's keep crushing it here in 2025. I appreciate you guys as always. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.